Yes, YouTube, hope everyone is doing well. We are back today for a full day of eating. I haven't actually done one of these in a while. I'm currently almost 5 weeks into my cut. I've just had my calories adjusted on Thursday. Today is Saturday. This will be my first proper day on my new training day meal plan, which again, calories are a little bit lower. They're still quite high for the average person's standards, but again, like I'm tall, I'm fairly heavy, so my metabolism is quite fast. This food that I'm eating, I am still hungry at the end of the day. I'm still hungry throughout the day. It's just probably a little bit more than most people are used to for when they cut. So I've just woken up. It's currently 7:10. I've done my weigh in. I've taken my pictures. Got my electrolytes. Not actually going to have anything to eat yet because I always do some fasted cardio in the morning. So I'm going to head to the gym, make sure to get those electrolytes drank whilst I'm at the gym, and then I'm going to get back and it'll be time for brekkie. Yes then people, so head into the gym. One thing I do love about Bali, and I've said this on my Instagram story, if you don't follow me on Instagram, follow me at FitWithMackie. It's just the riding about on these mopeds, man. It's just so liberating, and when the weather's nice and the sun's just beaming down on you, just brings me lots of joy. So when you're in a dieting phase and calories are getting a little bit low and you're having to use your carbs sparingly, you should really be placing your carbs around your training window. So have some quick carbs pre-workout with some fats to help slow down digestion, prolong that energy through the full session, and then have some carbs post-workout to replenish any lost glycogen that you expended during your training. And if you do this, you are essentially just using your carbs as effectively as you can. Like, yes, carbs are going to be limited anyway, so you need to make sure that when you are having them, you are using them in the most effective way. So yeah, pre and post workout carbs, get that in your notes. And then another thing as well, which I'm sure you've heard so many times, like protein, 1 gram per pound of body weight can be a little bit more when you're in a dieting phase. With protein, your body does burn like a decent amount of calories just digesting it. So it's around 30% of the calories that you consume from protein will be burned just through digestion. For carbs, it's around 15-20, and for fats, it's around 3. So protein is definitely the best macronutrient for when you're cutting in terms of controlling your calories. And then with your fats, a lot of people have different methodologies with the fats and different ideologies. I like to keep fat at around 40-50 grams. Keep fats nice and moderate, have as many carbs as possible, keep protein fairly high, and you'll be golden. I'm not gonna lie, I woke up in the middle of the night last night and it was absolutely hammering it down. The weather's not looking great today. It's looking a little bit doom and gloom. That's another thing, like since I've been here, the weather's not been that great, and I think it was either the first or the second massage I was getting, I came out and the woman followed me out and she was like, oh, like I'm a little bit chilly now. I was like, chilly? You're joking? Bearing in mind it was probably 30 degrees, and she was like, oh, it's winter here now. So I think winter in Bali, they have like a dry bit of winter and a wet bit of winter. Then the wet season starts at the 1st of October, on the 1st of October. So I think I'll be planning my departure for around the 1st of October, because I don't really want to be here for wet season. Like, it's rained quite a lot since I've been here. If this is the dry season, God knows what the wet season must be like. So I've just rocked up at the gym. I've got an hour of cardio to box off, which I'm not gonna lie, I'm actually really enjoying it. I was just spending all of my time on the treadmill doing my steps and my cardio on there, but I've swapped up my cardio to the bike and I actually enjoy it. I can just sit there, I can actually get some work done, so I'm being efficient. So yeah, time to get an hour boxed off on the bike, and then it'll be time for meal number 1, which I'm looking forward to, because again, I'm almost 5 weeks into my cut. I'm getting to the point now where I'm waking up hungry, I'm going to bed hungry, just generally hungry throughout the day. So whenever I've got a meal in close proximity, like, I am genuinely looking forward to it. So let's get this cardio boxed off. I do actually need to nip to the shop, and then let's get meal 1 down the hatch. Now then, just been to the shop. I was just going to show you my breakfast, but I may as well show you what I bought from the shop. And since I've been here, I have been shopping pretty much daily, because don't really fancy doing one massive shop, and it's not a major inconvenience for me to go to the shop to get some food. So, little re-up on the cereal. I have been chopping and changing what cereal I've been using, but it's really expensive. Like these boxes are only 300 grams, which is 1.5 portions. I have 200 grams post-workout. So for example, I'll be training 3 days in a row from today. I need 600 grams of cereal. So 2 of these boxes are gonna cost me around £6, which it's not a lot in the grand scheme of things, but it definitely does add up. And then some of the cereal, I've seen a box of cereal, 500 grams, £12, £12. And it wasn't even a nice one. It was like some sort of vegan, weird cereal. So yeah, picked up some cereal, got some berries for the micronutrients to go in with my oats. Chicken, I know you can't see that, but that is chicken. And then we've got these now. I've been throwing these in the rotation a lot recently, just because I'm not really a massive fan of cooking. Getting rice is a little bit of a ball ache because you need to find these shops called warungs, and there's not really one near to where I am. And when I make my food, like, I want to eat fast. I usually cook my food when I'm hungry. So these wraps, I mean, that's been my main carb source over the past couple of weeks. It's not really giving me any digestive issues. They're really quick, they're decent carbs. So yeah, if you're short for time, get on the wraps. That's the shop wrapped up. Breakfast for me now, after having my calories dropped, is 1 bagel, 2 large eggs, 200 egg whites. So 1 bagel less, eggs are staying the exact same. But yeah, I've done my cardio, absolutely starving now, so let me make my brekkie. Now then, little tactic. I mean, it's not really time efficient, but it tastes unbelievable. So in this house, the villa, I've not got access to a toaster. So what I've been doing is frying my bread in the pan after I've done my eggs, and wow, it's unbelievable, man. You get a nice crust on the outside, it just tastes unreal. So, what's on the agenda for today? I've just wrapped up my morning cardio. I'm gonna have this food, I need to edit some reels, and then I'll be having meal 2, and then I'll let that go down. I'm gonna do a little bit more work, and then it'll be time for me to train upper, and I'm gonna bring you along with me. Get ready to watch this sizzle. Beautiful. Right then, this is the finished product. Check this bad boy out. That toast, by the way, is honestly unbelievable. It's just perfect, just how I want it. And then we've got a little bit of pink salt. Meal number 2. I didn't actually record any of my meal because I was absolutely ravenous. I wanted to eat it. So you are going to sit and watch me eat the meal. So we've got chicken wraps with a little bit of veg and some pineapple. I will pop the macros and calories up on the screen. This meal is great, quick, easy, simple, and it tastes nice. So yeah, that's meal 2. Right then, so little change of plan. I was going to do a mic'd up session because I thought I was training on my own. Turns out I'm actually training with Kohl. So this is going to be like the pull day video. We're in for an upper session, which is going to be a huge session, as always. I'm looking forward to it. I'm feeling fueled after those wraps. So catch you at the gym for a nice little upper session with the boy. Now then, in Obsidian for a big upper day with the big dog. So first exercise, T-bar row, warming up. I always do 3 sets, no matter what exercise it is. So 3 sets on here. 1 set, 8 reps, another set, 6 reps, and then the last set, which is pretty much at my working weight, I will just do a couple of reps. Essentially, you just pyramid your way up to your working weight, and whilst you are pyramiding your way up, you just up the weight ever so slightly each time until your last warm-up set is probably 20% away from your working weight, and from there, you'll be fully ready to go. You'll be warmed up, you won't have expended that much energy, and you'll be able to attack your sets with lots of energy. You'll be fresh, you won't be fatigued, and you can go in and you can just absolutely slam the weights. And notice on this exercise, I'm starting to struggle here. The reps are getting tough, it's feeling really heavy. I'm not rushing any of my reps. I'm not trying to cheat my reps to get up to the top. I'm just maintaining my form, maintaining my tempo, and I'm just taking that all the way to failure. And if you do that, that's a successful set. And if you do that and you can progress the weight or progress in reps, you will build lots of muscle, but it's all about maintaining and standardizing your form and then taking that all the way to failure. And that's truly how you build as much muscle as possible. And another thing about training with a partner, you can get a spot. You should be coming out of a training session with someone else knowing that you could not have done any more. You can squeeze out partials. You can squeeze out half reps. Get your spotter to just give you a tiny, tiny little nudge so you can finish off those last few reps. So that's the T-bar wrapped up. Onto this close grip row. Now, this is something that I wouldn't usually do. This is something that Kohl wanted to do, and it's actually a beautiful exercise. One that's a little bit technical. It could be performed incorrectly. Essentially, what you want to focus on here is keeping your body up, right? Maybe tilted forward a tiny, tiny bit. And you want to keep your shoulders depressed, so push down. And you want to just reach forward and down with your hands. Like, don't reach straight forward, because then as you pull back, you'll be engaging your biceps. But you want to reach forward and down. And then as you are pulling the weight back, you want to try and pull the weight down and back. So drive your elbows back into your pocket. And as you can see from this angle here, look at the stretch that I'm getting on my lats, and look where my elbows are ending up as I pull back. A lot of people, when they train the lats, they say, oh, as soon as your elbows are at the side of your body, stop. But your lats can actually contract a little bit more. So drive your elbows a tiny, tiny bit behind your body. Get those lats fully contracted. Get a deep, deep stretch. And again, take that all the way to failure, and you'll be training the lats as effectively as you possibly can. Onto a little bit of chest. Now, this machine is an absolute beauty. Haven't actually seen it before. It's a Jim Lecco machine, plate loaded. But the resistance profile is absolutely beautiful. So you are failing pretty much at the start of a rep, which is what you want. Like, that's the ideal part of a rep to fail. You don't want to be failing halfway through. You want to be failing at the start of a rep. So again, as you can see here, getting Kohl to give me a spot when I'm struggling. Like, this was heavy for me. Like, I was struggling on these. I can get out to the hole, but finishing the rep and getting a full contraction of the pec, that's where it's becoming a little bit tough. So just got Kohl to give me a tiny, tiny little nudge. And by doing that, I can squeeze out a couple of extra reps, get some extra stimulus on the pecs. And after I'd finished this set, my chest was in absolute bits. And that's a sign of a good set, knowing you couldn't have done another rep. Another machine, which I typically would never go for, a decline fly. But again, this machine feels absolutely sensational. From the start of the rep to the very end, you can feel all of the tension on your pec. And again, just another tip to note for flies. At the top of the rep, so when the handles are coming together, you don't want your arms to be bent. You want your arms to be pretty much straight. So as you're coming through to the top of the rep, think in your mind that you need to try and touch your elbows together. If you're coming to the top of the rep and your arms are, you're looking like a crab, you've got round arms, your arms are really bent, you're not going to be placing as much tension as you could on the pec. So if you need to drop the weight, drop the weight. Make sure that you are controlling the weight with as much control as possible. You're not rushing the reps. And then again, if you can go through the rep and at the top of the rep, you are pretty much straightening your elbows, you've got straight elbows and you're touching your elbows together, you will be fully contracting the pec. And another thing to note, get a deep stretch on this exercise. I see so many people not making use of that stretch. In the lengthened position, that's where we will see the most tension. That's where we will see the most growth. So take advantage of that position. Next up, another absolute beauty of a machine. I'm seeing a common theme here. Jim Lecco, lat raise. It's absolutely sensational. The path of the handles is great. It's rigid. So usually the handles on a machine like this, they will be a little bit fluid, but this movement pattern means that you can just fully contract the delts and you can get as much tension on them as possible, provided you're standing in the right position. So here, what I'm focusing on, again, is keeping my shoulders depressed, trying to take the long way around, scraping my knuckles along the floor, keeping all that tension on the side delt. And this is a little physique update. So I'm currently just under 5 weeks into my cut. Physique's coming along nicely. I've got some new lines coming in. Vascularity's starting to be on the rise, should I say. Like, I'm starting to become a little bit more vascular. My physique's starting to look a little bit more shapely. So I'm happy with where I'm at. I'm happy with how things are going. And I'm looking forward to getting shredded for my group shoot. Right then, people, we are back at the crib. That session was absolutely phenomenal. Great session. I had a naughty pump. Saying to Kohl, I don't know why. I have salt on all of my meals usually. Maybe I had a little bit more today, but the pump was going off. Anyway, post-workout, same as always, we've got some cereal to look forward to. So 200 grams of cereal, 50 grams of protein and a shaker, and then that will be meal number 3 done. And then it's time to crack on with a little bit more work. I've got a busy afternoon. Let's get this meal sorted and eaten because I'm absolutely starving. So today, I think I'm gonna go for Cocoa Crunch and a little bit of tricks, some tricks. I sound like a 4-year-old man. Oh, what cereal am I going for? Anyway, I'm not gonna lie, I'll probably be a little bit sad when cereal gets taken out of the rotation because I love cereal. Like, even from when I was little, I had cereal all the time. Probably a little bit too much, then that's why I was probably a little bit of a chubby kid. Cereal, crisps, chocolate, that sort of stuff. The general stuff that makes you fat. Anyway, let me stop waffling, let me get this cereal made, and then I'll show you the finished product for those of you that haven't seen a bowl of cereal before. Just going to interject while I'm making this shake. So, for those of you who aren't already, you should be taking creatine. Now, there have been loads of studies thrown about that creatine is good for cognition, good for cognitive enhancement, cognitive ability, which is fine. But then there are studies saying that you need to take 2 grams instead of 1, so 20 grams a day rather than 10. I just take 10 grams, so for those of you who don't know, you should be taking around 1 gram per 10 kilos of body weight. So if you weigh 60 kilos, you take 6 grams. If you weigh 90 kilos, you take 9 grams. So I'm going to be taking 10. I don't actually weigh 100 kilos, I weigh 90, but a little more never hurt anybody. I feel like with all supplements and anything where there's sort of an adult recommendation, always go a little bit more. Like with paracetamol, medicine, stuff like that, like just throw a little bit more in. That's what I do. It seems to have worked out for me. I'm still fine, still in good health and good nick. So yeah, bit of creatine. I'm also gonna get some protein in here, and then it'll just be time for me to pour out my cereal. This camera's insane, man. I say it all the time. I've just been, that's quite far away, that is. Just been to fill my bottle up. I've come back and it's still tracking my face. Whoever invented this, Osmo Pocket 3, you need a medal, sir, because you've done a great job. So while I'm eating this, I'm going to just give you a little bit more knowledge on pre and post-workout nutrition. I know I bang on about it a lot, but that's because I think it's just so important. Like, especially if you are limited with the calories that you've got to eat in a day, you should not be having carbs first thing in the morning. Like, first of all, because you need to be saving your carbs for your training session and for recovery after. But if you have carbs first thing in the morning, you are going to cause a blood sugar spike, insulin response, and that's typically going to cause you to crash early afternoon or late morning. So if you're someone who relies on caffeine to get you through the day because you have your breakfast and you feel a little bit tired later on, that could potentially be because you're having carbs first thing in the morning. Like, I tested this out myself. If I wake up and I have a big bowl of oats in the morning, I do get really lethargic and tired 3-4 hours later. When I stopped doing that and I just had eggs in the morning, so protein and fats, I was absolutely fine. No crash, my energy was flat throughout the day. And then again, it just sets you up nicely. If your energy is flat, you're gonna be in a better mood, probably a little bit more productive. When you do actually get to the gym, you're gonna be more up for it. You're gonna be mentally in a better spot, rather than being tired and slogging yourself to the gym. Like, no one wants to do that. Pre-workout nutrition. I would typically always prescribe a good hit of protein to just make the muscle protein synthesis spikes consistent throughout the day. And then we've got a good serving of carbs, so quick carbs. Typically rice would be best, and then a little bit of dark chocolate or some fats, maybe a little bit of olive oil. And then post-workout, you ideally want no fats, again, just to allow the nutrients to be absorbed by the body pretty much instantly. So again, rice or cereal, quick carbs that are easily digested. Cream of rice is also a good one. And then if you do that, you are setting yourself up best to fuel your training, so you can go in and maximise your energy and maximise energy output, get the most out of your session. You're also maximising the use of those carbs post-workout. So after you're done and you're feeling tired and you need some energy, you need some glycogen, have some quick carbs, and that glycogen will get shuttled into the body like that, because you're not having any fats that will slow down digestion. So just a couple of tips for you. I'm going to eat this cereal, and then like I said, I'll be working. I'm not going to show you me working because it's not really that exciting. So I will catch you probably for meal number 4. Right, this is what bowl number 1 is looking like. Also, that trick cereal there, that was given to me free, attached with this Cocoa Crunch box, and I can see why. Like, it just tastes plastic. Tastes just tastes synthetic, and it's not really that nice to be honest, but again, it's low sugar, low calorie for cereal, so it will do the job for what I need it for, some quick carbs. Yes, people, I've just finished my second little bit of cardio. When I tell you I'm looking forward to this meal, I mean it. Like, I don't know what it is today and yesterday. I got back in after my training session and I was just shattered. Like, I've had to have a lie down on the sofa. Yesterday I needed a nap after my training session, and it gets to about, what time is it now? Gets to about 7 p.m. and I just feel like drained, like I've got nothing in me. Anyway, this meal we've got to look forward to is some oats. So yeah, we've got some oats, which again, I'm buzzing because this is quite a hefty meal and it tastes unbelievable. It tastes so nice. So in here we've got 110 grams of oats, 50 grams of protein, 150 grams of berries, and a little bit of dark chocolate. I'm not going to show you how I make oats because, oh well, there might be one person that cares. So, 110 grams of oats in a bowl, hot water in with the oats, smack it in the microwave for 1:20, and then I'm going to put 50 grams of protein on. I'm going to mix it in, which I will show you shortly. And then I'm going to get the frozen berries actually. Again, this is something that I've started to introduce recently now. When I first had the frozen berries, I wasn't really a massive fan of the flavour mixed in with the oats, but it's starting to grow on me, and I'm actually, what are they? Mixed berries. I'm actually a massive fan of the oats, the protein powder, the berries, and the dark chocolate. Oh God. And another thing, so these oats, when they come out of the microwave, obviously they're roasting, like they're boiling hot. So if I get the berries and chuck them in, it just brings it down to room temperature, sort it out. So, let me show you making these oats and let me get you set up. Right then, got you on 2.5 zoom, let me grab a little spoon and then, God, I can't express how hungry I am. Right, let me show you how it's done. So, oats. Should be enough water in now. So we've got, again, make sure you weigh your food, peeps, if what's not tracked is not measured. So we've got 50 protein up to 25. I'm running out of protein, we have to get some more. That's 44. And then we've got 50.4, that'll do. Give that a little mix, just take it off there for now. This part usually gets a bit messy. These bowls could do with being a little bit bigger, definitely need a little bit more water in there. Oh my god, check that out then. 150 on the dot. Right then, this absolute monstrosity is the finished product. See, the berries are frozen, they're a little bit hard, but leave them in there for long enough and they will begin to melt. I'm just going to chip away at the edges. So, I'm not going to set you down while I'm eating my food because I think that's a little bit weird. But, this is the second to last meal. So I'm going to nail these oats, crack on with a little bit more work because it is getting on a little bit late. And we're probably going to do another 45 minutes, maybe an hour. And then it'll be time for my final meal, which will be chicken wraps, round number 2. So I will catch you then. Right then, the final meal is about to go down. So we've got some chicken. I've actually already got some chicken made, but there's not enough there. There's only 50 grams, so I need another 80 grams cooked, 80 grams cooked, and then a little bit of veg for the micronutrients. So let's get this bad boy on. One thing that is quite convenient and handy about the shops in Bali is that the chicken that you buy in the little pots, it's already diced, which is very convenient. This place is so convenient. Even if you want to buy food out, it's so cheap. Like, you can get a healthy meal. Like, I could get chicken, 200 grams of rice, broccoli delivered to my door for probably under £6, whereas in the UK, it's just unheard of. You go to Nando's and you're spending 20 quid for some chicken, bit of mash and some broccoli, but here, everything's dirt cheap. And it's good quality as well. Like, usually you'd think, before you've been here, oh, if the food's that cheap, it must taste horrendous. But genuinely, it's unbelievable. There's a place called Open House, a little cafe, very popular, healthy food. And it tastes unreal, and it's so cheap, and it just blows my mind. Coming over from the UK and just seeing the food scene here, it's bonkers. It's absolutely nuts. Which is one of the reasons why I love this place. Now then, the chicken and the veg are done. Have a load of that. A load of that in your face. Looking forward to scanning that. So quick, so easy. Stuck my chicken in the pan, let it cook until it's pretty much done, and then I've just thrown the frozen veg in there. So the final meal is done, and here it is. So we've got some chicken and veg, which show you in the pan, a couple of wraps. Like I said, I've not got any sauce to put on those, so that'll have to do. Quick, easy, nice bit of protein, got some micronutrients from the veg. No fats in this meal, I've had my fats in the rest of my meals throughout the day. And then some quick carbs from the wraps. So, I mean, I'm not gonna force you to watch me to eat, but that's gonna wrap up the video. So 5 meals on a training day, 5 meals on a rest day. I will do a rest day full of eating at some point next week. And yeah, hope you've enjoyed the video, peeps. I will catch you in the next one. Peace.